right, so look, Shop Talk's been on fire. YouTube content been getting better and better, more and more consistent. When we add the shorts in, it's really going to get to what we needed to get to. But today, what are we here to talk about? We're here to talk about Myles Garrett on the verge of breaking the sack record, playing against his longtime pal and buddy, Dan Moore. Dan Moore gave up the most sacks in the NFL last year with the Pittsburgh Steelers. We signed him to an $82 million contract, and he has 8 sacks so far this season. He's on pace to be sack champion again. And J.C. Latham has given up 7. So, our 2 tackles have struggled this year. We still believe in y'all. Y'all can get the job done. And Cam Ward has been sacked more than any quarterback in the NFL this season. Are some of the sacks on him? Yes, but I'd like to say what really is the biggest issue with the pass protection for the Tennessee Titans is the fact that they can't run the football. 36 yards in the opening drive Sunday against the Jaguars, and then what do? They spin around and decide, you know what? Because we're behind the possession, we're not going to run the ball. Titans end up with 67 rushing yards. Over half of their rushing yards was in the first drive, and that's a recipe for disaster. 12 consecutive games without having more rushing yards than the opponent. You have to win the war up front. If you got a rookie quarterback, the recipe has always been a strong run game and a defense. And with us not being able to run the football, it means we can't control time of possession. It means Cam Ward is throwing the ball 40 plus times a game, 40 plus dropbacks with tackles that are struggling. And guard Ziedler struggling to pick up stunts. It's just a recipe for Cam Ward to be sacked more than any other quarterback. One way you can protect a young quarterback is through running the football, reducing the number of dropbacks. And when you run the football, it's natural that a stronger percentage of your dropbacks are going to come off play action that's going to hold linebackers and safeties and edge rushers because they're worried about getting gashed in the run game. And the Tennessee Titans don't put fear in anybody's hearts running the football, so people pin their ears back and go get Cam. Look at the team playing today, New England Patriots, who turned it around last season. They don't give up more than 50 yards rushing to their opposing running back, and they run the football, which means Drake May is not throwing it 50 times a game. He's throwing it 25 to 30, and it's efficient. It's 70% clip, and it's the most passing yards in the NFL because you get a lot of one-on-ones. You get to move the safeties with the run game, and the Tennessee Titans lack that. So if you want to stop Myles Garrett come Sunday, you're going to have to run the ball. You're going to have to run away from him when you boot. On his side, you're going to have to pin block and double team. If anybody remembers the infamous last time the Tennessee Titans played the Browns, our tight ends were chasing Myles Garrett pre-snap to line up to double and triple team him, which means teams get the scheme pressures on 3rd and longs because the Tennessee Titans don't run the ball well enough to be in a lot of 2nd and shorts and 3rd and shorts. So long dropbacks waiting for routes to get open means Cam Ward is going to have to get the ball out hot. It means they're going to have to run the ball effectively, and they can't have a lot of penalties that put them in 3rd and longs against Myles Garrett, or he will break the record Sunday. All right. That was the main course of action, which is going to lead into the offseason of what do the Tennessee Titans do with the offensive line to try to improve it? Do they move J.C. Latham inside the guard? Do they give J.C. Latham another run at right tackle next year? Go heavy in the draft for free agency at right guard? Does Jackson Slater get his shot? Lloyd Cushenberry has been injured more than he's been healthy at the center position. Does Corey Levin get the job? Do you groom Jackson Slater to be a center? It's not a smart financial move to get rid of Lloyd Cushenberry, Peter Skoronski needs to get extended at left guard. He's our best lineman. And Dan Moore, you're kind of locked into a contract. You don't get it out until 26 season is over. What do you do with an $82 million left tackle that could potentially lead the NFL in sacks 2 consecutive years on 2 different teams in the AFC? So those are my questions for y'all. Those are the topics of the day and the third portion of the content today. Strap with the resub for 5 months. That's love. Support stickers in the chat. Is Mike McCoy, if you heard any of the press conference, I'm gonna get to y'all questions in a second. Mike McCoy's press conference today saying that he would have went for it if it was 4th and 2, but it was 4th and 3, so he elected to kick. I think he lost a big portion of his team. I think some of the things that Jeff Simmons alluded to when he talked about the next coach of the Tennessee Titans and the culture in the locker room right now as it sits is, I think the team knows that they're tanking. I think that they know that their head coach is helping the tank. And I think he's lost the locker room because guys are still going out and playing hard, but I don't think much of the team has a lot of respect for the coaching staff and in the direction of where the Tennessee Titans is going to go for these next 5 games. And we've seen the worst of the worst is Restrepo getting a 15-yard catch, getting hurt. I think he got the best possible news that he's not seriously injured, something that he can come back from in a shorter manner of time, nothing long. We will be patient with that, but I think it's a situation where you just hope nobody gets hurt. You hope they get through this season. You got the Browns, worst possible scenario when your tackles are struggling to play Myles Garrett, and the Tennessee Titans are going to have to try to run the football. The Browns are a better running football team than the Tennessee Titans. So who knows how this game is going to end Sunday. But then you got the 49ers and the Chiefs after that, then the Saints, and you end with the Jaguars again. So, Cam Ward is going to face the Browns defense, the Niners defense, the Chiefs defense, the Saints, and then end with the Jags. Like we got to get Cam Ward standing upright through the rest of this season. We cannot just continue to let him take hits. And I think that comes from Mike McCoy. Has to go in and tell Bo Hardegree, hey, listen, I know you're coaching for a job. You've been given play calling duties. You and Nick Holtz are trying to put your best foot forward, but you got to commit to the run game. Even if it's not effective, you can't let Cam drop back 40 times against Myles Garrett. You can't let Cam drop back 40 times against the Niners. You can't let Cam drop back 40 times against the Chiefs. I don't think he could make it through the season if you're going to continue to let him take hits like that.